Good morning and welcome to my route to Bergen City Marathon 2026 race day. We are here. Wasn't sure if I was going to make it, especially, I haven't run since last Sunday. It's Saturday now, it's a Saturday race. It's 6:15 in the morning. It's an early start. I'm just off to the bus stop. I work in the city centre, so that's where the run is. You guys have watched the videos, you know I'm doing this route to the bus stop. So yeah, the training block by ChatGPT, we're there. Heavily influenced by Lee Grantham and his routines and philosophy. We are at race day. Nothing ChatGPT can do now, you know what I mean? This last week has not gone how we want, obviously. We'd like to have had a bit of a shakeout. My back's not 100% and it does kind of affect my hips a bit, which obviously I had that injury after London, and is it similar? Maybe, I don't know. But we'll take it slow and steady. I'll do my best, as obviously in that, but the aim is to complete. Love a PB, but maybe the preparation hasn't quite gone right at the end, and then obviously I finished London last year, and I couldn't run for months, and I hated that. It's not me, you know what I mean? I'm a runner. I love running. I love everything to do about running, you know what I mean? It's just, yeah. to not be able to do what you love doing, oh, that was difficult. But it's just so frustrating because the training block has gone fantastic. Absolute fantastic. And I just don't, you know what I mean? Maybe nearly getting run over on the last Saturday was another sign. Don't do it. I don't know. You know what I mean? But the excitement is there. You know what I mean? At work I was just so excited yesterday. And that, the adrenaline pumps now, you know what I mean? It was not even at the start line, you know what I mean? I've carved up, I haven't sugared up, you know what I mean? So, here's an early start. Thank you, Bergen City Marathon. Jeez. So, they've changed it all around this year. Normally there's like a 2-hour gap before they send off the half marathon. So then, you kind of have a bit of company on the second loop, because it's not like London. It's not heavily supported, unfortunately. You know what I mean, you get certain people out, cheering at you outside the houses, and that's great. Really, I love that. But you know what I mean, I guess it's just like my normal runs. You know what I mean, my lonely normal runs. But it's just how it is, I guess. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, they normally set them off 2 hours after us, but this year they're going an hour after us, up until 2 hours. You know what I mean? They got so many runners this year doing the half marathon. It's a great thing for Bergen City Marathon, and that, you know what I mean? There is a love for the half marathon in Bergen. You know what I mean? There was a few spots left in the full marathon place, but you know what I mean? The half marathon sells out very quickly now, and but it is also a very challenging course, like we've said. So I can understand why a lot of people don't want to do it twice, and that. So yeah, it's all a bit different today. I mean, it's my first. I didn't do Bergen last year because it's the same weekend as London, like this year. So we'll see how we'll see how it is. I'm excited. Obviously, I wouldn't say worried. You know, cautious. You mean every marathon you've got to be cautious. It's not a given. But obviously with the back, have to be that little bit more cautious, I guess. So we'll see what happens. Like I say, and that. Normally I kind of write down on my arm the paces, but this year I'm going to be writing down the maximum BPMs and the heart rate for certain places, and that on the course or sections, should I say. So that is the plan there. Haven't done it yet, but got the pen. I'll do it on the bus, and that just keeps me a little bit settled on the bus as well. Got my headphones for the bus. I won't be running music, I never do now. But I've got my go-to music that every time I do a marathon, I always put one album on, and it stems from the first time I did a marathon, to be honest. And that was just literally Alanis Morissette's greatest hits, like from years ago. You know what I mean, probably about 15 years ago, that album. I just listen to that, just keeps me calm. And I've done that every marathon since now, so why break tradition? Does the thing. The rain's coming down, so I'm a little bit. Hopefully it's just Bergen, or just the outskirts of Bergen that it's raining. You know what I mean? I got a t-shirt on and that, but then I've got my vest underneath. But yeah, hopefully I haven't messed up with what I'm wearing, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm not going to waffle on. I'll wait for the bus a couple of minutes. Like I say, just settle down, and I'll see you in Bergen City. So this is basically the run-in to the finish Bergen City Marathon. Obviously, if I can get over this way a bit more, you might be able to see it a bit better. You can see the orange bit going over. That'll be basically the finish line and the start line. As we run down there, obviously marathon runners have to do this twice, so we'll be on the other side of the barrier running up for the first loop, and then we cross over, you know, or get back onto the main bit, because this place will be flooded with half marathon runners waiting to start theirs. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, so I've got like 45 minutes left now. Just gonna go into the changing rooms at the place where I picked up my bib, just around the corner, just to try and get a little bit warm. It's a bit chilly. At least the rain stopped. I must admit, I'm busting for a loo again, so I'm doing it all in the right procedure. Let's get those bits done, and I'll catch you in a bit. So that's it, I dropped my bag off. It's outside, it is raining. They did say to put your stuff in a plastic bag inside the bag, just in case it's raining, but yeah, no roof over the bags. But you know, it's what it is, what it is. I put my London Marathon bag that I had, my kit bag for London Marathon. I put that inside the bag and all that lot. So at the moment, I'm just in a scrappy t-shirt. I'm gonna get rid of that at the start line, and that, and then just pretty much start a warm up. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna go crazy because I've got 42 kilometers to do, but just a little, yeah, couple of minute jog. You know what I mean? Just to basically keep warm, and so I don't think. And to be honest, let's see how the back is. So we'll see. And that, but you know, obviously a lot of people turning up now, getting ready. It's what, 25 minutes till the race starts, so that kind of works out perfect for me now. Then just hope that my body holds out. But yeah, I'll catch you in a bit later. For a glorious view of Bergen, eh? I was a little bit late because now I'm back with the bushes. There we are, coming up to the halfway mark as I go on to the next loop. And that, so basically 21.1k, and I've taken, what's the time now on my watch? 4 a.m. There's that sign. And now 28k in. Yeah, we keep going. here we go. Another medal and that. Yeah. Full marathon. 4 hours 24 seconds I think it was. Obviously not what I wanted in the kind of pre-warm up to it all, but I'll take that, you know what I mean? Was it, you mean, going back on that second half, I've done a major negative split there. Wasn't it 4 hours, 2 hours 20 for the first half? So then looking at it, I've got to look at the stat, I haven't looked at it yet. It's a 2 hour second half. So, really happy with that. You know what I mean? I think ChatGPT was a little bit too conservative with the BPMs, but I've kind of had it all the way along that, you know what I mean? And I just locked in. I locked in and just went along, and I knew my heart rate was a little bit too high, but you know what I mean, I did walk the hills in the first bit, and I really don't care about that, you know what I mean, because to be honest, ChatGPT has done what I wanted it to do, where it's got me round in a marathon that I don't feel dead. And that, you know what I mean, I gave it my all, you know what I mean, I was at the end, I was still, you know what I mean, I've got to look at the splits and I've got to look at the pacing and all that lot. I'll be very surprised, I think, but it was such a great race for me. And and I was a little bit wary about them having like the earlier start with the half marathon and that, but there's so many waves. When I came past the first bit, it was a bit of an empty road, and I did see some people ahead of me and that were half marathoners, and then all of a sudden I kind of caught up into that wave and all that lot, and then you mean I did pass the 2 hour 20 half marathon pacer, you mean, quite late on in the race for me, but it was, yeah, I think, you mean, how ChatGPT got me to execute that race. Yes, I went over the BPMs and the averages and all that lot, and I kind of took that into myself in the end. I think I've done it. You know what I mean? I'm really happy with that. I kind of locked in early on that bit where I knew that I had to just grind it out, you know what I mean? And yeah, really, really pleased with that. It's such a buzz in this city now, you know what I mean? We had all sorts of weather going on. We've had rain, sunshine now. You know what I mean, I've just picked up my bag thing, and I'm heading back into like near the end. And that, or finish line, so it's going to get all bit, you know, good buzz and a bit busy. So yeah, I might just turn off me, put the crowd in. You know what I mean? It was such an amazing experience for the city as well. So happy with that, and just, yeah. I mean, it just gives you goosebumps. You know what I mean? I've said that in London before, and it was nice to get the goosebumps here. And you know what I mean, really pleased with how many people are out, and you know what I mean, obviously there's record participation, so absolutely amazing. But yeah, I'm going to flip the camera around. So yeah, this is the back part of what we've just done, and so I'm heading back pretty much towards the course, and the start line is just up there. Absolutely amazing atmosphere, and I did see a couple of runners on the floor, unfortunately. Never nice, but you know what I mean, it's, yeah, I just hope they're okay, you know what I mean, and yeah, a lot of people about, as you can see, you know what I mean, a lot of cheery smiles. Everyone's done really fantastic. I am going to head off to my job and get a nice beer. I haven't had a beer for God knows how long. Get something proper to eat. You know what I mean? Just been sipping away on my gels. So yeah, not a PB like I say, but I'm really happy with how it went, and that gives me the benchmark. And you know, my back held out. I was worried about my hip as well, so yeah, really can't yeah, can't complain. Anyway, I'm going to turn you guys off. I'll catch you guys later. Hello and welcome back. It's Sunday. Giving me a bit of time to reflect on such a fabulous day yesterday, and also after a few too many beers, I guess I wasn't going to do a video. And last night, so I haven't drunk for a long time, and I wasn't drunk. Don't get me wrong, but after a long day, overexerting yourself, it was just nice to just unwind and enjoy those beers and that after the race and chat to fellow runners as well. And because we all went to like this after party place, this bar that was all kind of full of runners and that. So it was nice to chat away to some people there and kind of find out other people's stories and all that lot, which is great for me because, like I say, I love running, and I love everything about running. So. And all that lot. So yeah, that was a really good end to the day. Obviously, you've seen my video footage for the run. I lost a bit of footage somewhere because I see at the end of where I finished the first loop, you don't actually get me telling you the time when I do remember saying the time and that, but I don't really know what was going on because in my head I was 2 hours 20 for the first half. And then second half would have been 2 hours, but I miscalculated all of that lot somehow. So still, it wasn't a massive negative split like I said in the video as well, but still it was a negative split, and we will get onto that as well because I think I lost some footage because I took my phone out to take another picture of the city, as we're quite high up. And I noticed I'd done about 16 minutes of recording. And I don't know how I obviously clicked a button or something as I was putting my phone back into my shorts and all that lot. So something went a bit ski-whiff there, so I lost a bit of footage there. But, that was nothing majorly relevant as such. So, yeah, negative split. First half, 2 hours, 11 minutes 56 seconds. Second half, 2 hours 8 minutes and 28. ChatGPT has kind of said it here. You ran the second half 3 minutes 28 faster. That's a clear negative split, especially on that course. You have to remember the gradient of that whole course and the hills and all that lot to come and do a quicker, substantially quicker second half. Was fantastic. I've got all the stats here, and we can quickly kind of go because I did ask ChatGPT to kind of cut through like the 5K splits for me. So first 5K, 0 to 5K, and that is just where I hit the first proper uphill about 4 kilometers, and then it's a bit gradual, and then 5K onwards, it's very mountainous up until probably about 8 kilometers, and then it's a big downhill. So the first 5K, average pace 6:47, but controlled, and I walked the hills because the way that the heart rate was was going up too high, and even if I do like the little steps and whatever, they kind of short my stride and step like that. It just wasn't. Was never going to let the heart rate settle, so I just went with it and just pushed it along. So walked that one, enjoyed that. 6:47 per kilometer. Then 5 to 10K. So starting, at the end of it, 10K, I've already come downhill and all that lot, but I've had some major ups as well. Still kind of thing. It's 6 minutes and 19 per kilometer averaging that block there. So then we come like pretty much on the flat section where I kind of could hit some kind of race pacey effort and that was so 10 to 15 average pace 5:48 per kilometer. So then now I can get my natural rhythm going and all that lot. 15 to 20. I kind of still have like a bit of a peak hill going up, which, you know, I mean, it was stupidly steep in that, you know what I mean? So walk that bit, and then obviously that's going to take the time down a bit there. So average pace there was 6:12 and that, but I'm obviously very cautious that I can't go all the way around again, yeah? So yeah, then we hit obviously the second part of the race, you know, or the second part of the loop to keep going. And 25 to 30k, which, you mean, going back uphill now and all that lot. But this time, I knew where I was and I knew that I was comfortable. So I kind of just went, go. So I was already higher than the heart rate that ChatGPT had kind of wanted, but I did feel so good. And I know there's a danger, you know, it's dangerous of being fresh or feeling good, but you're not as good as you think, and so you end up hitting the wall. But I was nowhere near that. So like I said, I did push it, and I was like, right, well, I can still recover on the downhills and things like that. So going up the hills, it was only, you know, on the mountain section for the second time. I did kind of walk the extreme parts of it, but I was, you know, I mean, back into the run quicker, and like I say, just running and keeping an eye on a heart rate which I knew I could sustain. And that, so it was a 6:32 kilometer per average on a 25 to 30k. But then obviously normally after that 30k, the wheels can come off on a marathon. Not on my marathon. I was back on the downhill and into the bit where I knew that it was just race starts now, grind it out, and actually hit my best average block on the 5 bit. 30 kilometers to 35 kilometers, I averaged 5:35 per kilometer. You mean, I was, like I said, and ChatGPT, you were racing here. So I really kind of just settled in and just really kind of ground it out and just said to myself, you know, you were just going to keep going. So then, you know, 35 to 40, you still got like coming up to that last big hill bit, and that, but I'm still pushing. Obviously, I'm tired, you know what I mean? 35 to 40k is the thing, but it was still a 5:52 per kilometer pace. So, and nothing spiked, you know, I mean, the heart rates didn't spike or anything like that. I was just keeping it what I could sustain. And like I said, I was going past, at this stage by now, I'd already gone past the 2:20 half marathon thing that I've mentioned in that other video. And that, so I'm going quicker than like paces on a half marathon now, which obviously they started before I'd even hit the half marathons. So I knew I was going to do all right if I could keep that going. You got to remember, like I said, I didn't do anything by pace on this run. I didn't have pace on my watch at all. I had it all to do with heart rates on this time on a different screen. And that, so I didn't know the paces, what I was doing or anything like that. It was just heart rate driven and go. And that, so maybe it felt I was going quicker than I actually was at some point, but you know what I mean, the statistics are telling me what I've done now. So I've really kind of enjoyed that. So the last 2 kilometers on there is the push. I say that it did get tiring, and I think actually there was that last big hill in this one which walked up, and to me it got a bit bottlenecked, and that was the half marathon people in front of me, so I couldn't run it even if I tried. It was just too many people, so you just have to walk up and take that. Then as soon as you're up, just keep going. But then I pushed and I just emptied the tank on that last bit as best as I could. And I remember running on the last kind of 500 meters of the course, you mean, passing people, just saying, come on, empty the tank as I'm passing them, because obviously I'm you know, I mean, I'm not sprinting like I have done in years before, but it is a push. And yeah, you mean, I just really enjoyed it. You know, I mean, that last 2 kilometer bit, 2.6 by my watch or whatever, was 6.2 per, or 6 minutes 20 per kilometer. So just really enjoyed that. You know, and it says, you know, you negatives rate, you know, race that effort. You know, I mean, but not perfectly on the pace, but in the effort. And I get that. You mean I was very cautious in that start. I'll just keep saying that. Maybe a little bit too cautious, but I think ChatGPT has also said it's been a bit too cautious. So that's something to look forward to, or look into it later on. It just says, the course cost, the course cost you massively. The best sections, 535 per kilometre. Worst climbs, 630 to 715 per kilometre. It's the elevation that kind of does it. Not excuses. I just, as much as I wanted to sub 4, I didn't want to wreck anything with it as well. Certainly don't want to wreck my health and that. I came off of London last year injured, and that threw my running. And I don't ever want to be in that position again. I just want to be able to continue doing the thing I enjoy, running. So the idea was to get round, do a marathon that I was actually comfortable with, knowing that it wasn't just a potter, it was a race, and thoroughly executed properly. And it is actually my second fastest marathon, which actually means it's my best Bergen City marathon, as Bergen City Marathon is basically most of my marathons, 2 in London obviously. So I even beat London the first year, and that London the second year is obviously my PB still, which is 4 hours 12. So I'm happy to get this 4 hours 20 from Bergen, feeling that, as I said in the video, I wasn't dead. And does that mean I kind of could have pushed more? I think we've said it in chat. GPT has said it as well. Could have pushed the first bit a little bit more, but it's such a long race. You just can't overdo it. I didn't want to overspend myself, and I was trying to stick with the heart rates, but I knew that in the end there was no point. I was actually like 10 heart rate over what I should have been in most bits of it. An average heart rate of 159. I think that shows there is certainly leeway to go higher, which is obviously pushing more forward and pushing more and getting quicker. So then, it was such, in my head, just a great day, and that's all I could ask for, really. And I'm sitting here twiddling around with this now. Yeah, look, I got my medal, and that such a great day. And that's what brings me back to do it again. And it's, I didn't get the best time, but I still did a better execution, and that just means in time I can get better with with all of it. So there is progress there, and that's what I strive for, progress and all that lot. And I still love the idea of marathons. And like I said, Bergen wasn't my A race. I haven't booked in for an A race, but now I can go, take away from this now, and then we can look at it and see realistically what I can do, and see on my training. I'm going to take pretty much most of the week off running, just really let it settle down. I plan to go for a walk after this, and that just walk out the marathon, and that I enjoyed myself last night. Perfect. You know what I mean? It was just so nice. So yeah, I'll do a ChatGPT debrief and that, but that was my race day. I'll do another video and that. I'm gonna try and kind of keep maintaining something on the channel as well, because there is like a long journey ahead, but I just don't know how I'm going to play that out just yet. But this was my race day. So as we speak now, there's thousands of runners running London, and obviously there's 2 world records just been done as well, the ladies and the men's. We now have a sub 2 hour marathon finisher. I think it was actually 2 of them, wasn't it? But one guy only gets the medal or gets the record. So you mean what a great day as well for London and all that lot. And I hope everybody running London is okay and come out with what they achieve as well, and with their kind of aspirations and all that lot. So yeah, thank you guys for kind of following me, following my route to Bergen City Marathon 2026. I hope it's been entertaining. I've learned a lot about myself on this run or this block. You do anyway, but this one was a little bit different because I've learned to slow down before I get quicker. But I'll go on, through that on another video about what I'm going to take from this going forwards and how I can kind of implement other stuff and that if I can't get Lee Grantham as my trainer. I think I need to save up some pennies before I can do that. So we'll see. But yeah, once again, thanks very much. If you can please click like and subscribe, let you know what's going on. Follow me on Instagram, Neil_dad_that_runs. Then you'll keep more up to date of whatever if I don't get the videos out as such of how I'm doing and what I'm doing. So it's all running related on my Instagram and that. So thanks very much again. Take care. And that was my route to Bergen City Marathon 2026.